them Dallas Cowboys despite all the rumors. Nick Chubb just signed with the Houston Texans, and he's already out there working, Tony. And hey, we were just saying how OTAs don't matter, and it doesn't matter when we see these guys running around. When you see a guy that suffered a leg injury like Nick Chubb and a player the level of Nick Chubb, you see Nick Chubb running out there looking like Nick Chubb, that matters to me a little bit. Like, he looks healthy. He looks ready to go. We're now, 2 years removed from the serious injury by the time he plays, at least.
Yeah.
I think that this could be a good signing for the Texans, having a 1-2 punch with Mixon and Chubb.
Yeah, so lots of things were running through my head when this alert came on my phone. Or I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh wow, Mixon, Chubb, backfield, like this could be dangerous for them. And then I was like, well, what does this do to Dameon Pierce, who was one of my favorite running backs in the draft a few years ago? And then that's gone sideways. I was like, because they still have Dare Owun. Name, but the guy who plays special teams.
First name's Dare, I think.
It's Dare Ogunbowale. I think I butchered it still, but I came.
He's one of those like I dare you to try and tackle me.
Yes, but he plays special teams, so he's probably going to be on the roster. Then they also drafted Woody Marks out of USC, who's a good third down pass catching back. So they have running backs on this team. Now, does that make Dameon Pierce the odd man out if everybody gets through camp healthy and they're not using IR spots and stuff like that? Like, but then the biggest question to me was like the offensive line. Like when I go through, it's like it's names that I know and that I recognize. They brought in Cam Robinson. There, Blake Fisher, who was at Notre Dame with Joe Alt, was kind of on the opposite side, who also looked pretty good at right tackle for them when he was in college. Now he's projecting to be a starter. And as I'm going through, it's like Titus Howard, Juice Scruggs could be in the mix somewhere there. They drafted Ariante Ursary from Minnesota in the second round. Like, they have names that I know. I just don't know how well it's going to fit together. And then the third component of this Nick Chubb situation is like, so you have the offensive line, you have a deep room. How many touches are you going to get? And then you have new offensive coordinator that they just hired in February that was like a passing game coordinator, tight ends coach or whatever for the Rams. I was going to write his name down. I did not. I think it's Nick Calley or whatever. You have so many different components going into what this offense is going to be. And when you look at the Texans roster, it's like, this is a
That's what I was about to say. That's what I'm saying. Like, man.
The offense is just filled with question marks. It's like, well, CJ Stroud had some shoulder tightness. They've got great running backs on paper. I like the wide receivers they got from Iowa State in the draft this year. I think they can step in and contribute early on in the year. And it's like, they have all the pieces, but I don't know about the offensive line. I don't know about the new play caller. Like, those are the things
very important too. Very important.
Kind of like, I got questions. I think ultimately it'll be good because I think CJ Stroud is in that, tier 2-ish quarterback conversation, right? Where it's like, I have a bunch of guys that I think are all kind of bumping their heads on the tier 1 ceiling there. I don't know, Mike. I don't know what to make of offensive line and new play caller. Feels like a lot to deal with in one off season.
Yeah, I mean, it's what the Chargers just did, though, Tony. We just flipped it, rebuilt the O-line, went to 11 wins right away. But yeah, the Texans were already the Texans have way more talent.
There's a lot more talent at wide receiver.
Yeah, like you're saying, the Texans are freaking loaded. Other than the offensive line room, I don't know. I feel like it doesn't necessarily like raise the ceiling this Nick Chubb signing for the Texans, but I feel like it like keeps their ceiling stronger when it comes to what their offense can be as a whole. We already know it's going to be insane as a passing unit. All the struggles CJ Stroud had in his second year, I think, are a little overblown. Like, everyone's saying that he had all these struggles and stuff, and I'm like, if this is him struggling, he's going to be a really fucking good quarterback in the long term because he doesn't look to be struggling as much as a lot of people are saying. So I'm with you. I think the Texans are a sneaky AFC team that if they can stay healthy, they can keep it together, everything can gel. They could be a team that is making a push here late in the season because their easy schedule at the 1 seed. I mean, that's how good the team is.
Yeah, it helps the division they're in. We talk about this all the time. When you look around and you're like, wait, look at every dynasty we have. Usually you can point back to weaker divisions, lots of QB influx, lots of coaches influx in the division, and they've kind of hit that perfect stride where they started to rise up, and the Colts have been a little bit crazy at quarterback and coaching and that sort of stuff. And then you go around and it's like, well, Titans have a rookie QB this year, and the Jaguars now have a quarterback that I didn't even know had a shoulder injury, and a new coach coming in and a new GM. And it's like,
don't forget about Mac Jones.
QB controversy. Mac Jones is he's in San Francisco now.
Oh, they don't even have him then. They're really fucked.
Yeah, they're
absolutely screwed.
This is not about the Jaguars, it's about the Texans.
No, it's not. It's about the Texans. It's about the Texans.
The floor for the Texans, to me, is like 10 wins, right? Yeah. It's like that. I have no doubts that defense, and even if the offense does kind of struggle the first month or so to get the wheels in motion, it's like, well, he's going to lean on who? Nico Collins. That's a great crutch to have right there. Oh, Dalton Schultz. That's a great crutch to have. Running back situation. Oh, we've got a couple of those guys that we think can really carry the football. I think that even if they struggle to put together multiple drives in a row, they're still going to be able to score enough points, and that defense is just going to whip everybody's ass on the other side of the ball, so it doesn't matter anyways.
And they probably just drafted a kid that's going to make us forget Tank Dell exists, so buckle up, everybody. The Texans are going to be a good freaking football team. When I'm looking at the AFC, obviously the Chiefs won it last year. The Bills and Ravens continue to chase them. But then we talk about the next group. I mean, I could biasly still put the Chargers over the Texans, but we lost to the Texans in our last game. So, I mean, I think I'd probably put the Texans over the Bengals. We're talking about contenders in the AFC right now.
I have no problem with that. I definitely will have that as my Like we were just ordering them 1 to 10. The Bengals are a lot further down for me than other people, and I think more so every year it gets increasingly in this direction where like people don't really like to talk about. Oh, the Chargers didn't have that great of an offseason because they didn't bring in names that people are familiar with. Oh, the Texans didn't really have a great offense because they didn't bring in names they're familiar with. But the Texans bring in a guy like Nick Chubb, who's like 30, coming off knee injuries, and everybody's super excited about it. And it's like, because if
no one talks about Jaden Higgins or CJ Gardner-Johnson or
Jalen Noel is the one where it's like, if you're talking about them forgetting about Tank Dell, like he's that player that is going to be, he's different in his style of play, but I think you can put him in the slot and he's going to be able to be, an explosive seam slot receiver for them right out the gate if they need those plays.
Texans are stacked up. I think people are over worried about him. I'm not. The Sporting Cast is just too good. They're going to overcome.
Bill Flames, I went Mike on the mic. What's something brand new, one time for your mind. He gave you fair warning. Now it's time to smack him in the mouth with that raw sports talk from the town. Sweet chin music to your favorite sportscaster.